Britain's massive jihadi problem. I'm Brian Lilly with the Rebel.media. We all know the name of the terrorist now, the man that ran down pedestrian tourists with his car, injuring 40 people, killing 4, so far at least. The man that shoved a knife into PC Constable Keith Palmer, killing him. Well, that man was 52-year-old Khalid Masood. Masood was born in Britain. His birth name was Adrian Elms, but he converted to Islam and took the name Khalid Masood. Police believe he converted to Islam in prison, where he spent time for violent offenses. His first run-in with the law that resulted in convictions, well, that was believed to be 1983. His last conviction is believed to have been 2003. In that time, Masood faced charges and convictions for weapons charges, disturbing the peace, assault, causing grievous bodily harm. So this is a man that was well known to police. And at one point, he was also on the radar of MI5 as a quote-unquote peripheral figure in a terrorism investigation. So why wasn't he under surveillance when he rented a car in Birmingham and made the long trip to London to attack the mother of all parliaments? That is the scary part. That's the scary question. It's not as if Masood wasn't known to police or intelligence services. So what happened? Well, this is the truly scary part. Masood was deemed not radical or dangerous enough to keep an eye on. Like all intelligence agencies around the world, the British service, MI5, has, finite resources. They can only watch so many people. One intelligence op that I spoke to said that the Brits are watching as many as 10,000 people at a time, that there are 500 different plots under investigation at any one time. So that tells me that Masood was triaged out of the surveillance system, that there are 10,000 people deemed more dangerous than this guy. Now, let's admit something here, something that is cold comfort to those that have lost a loved one, cold comfort to those that had a loved one injured in these attacks. This attack was barbaric and it was simple, a car and a knife. And counterterrorism experts say that this is a testament to the hard work done by British officials to block more complex and dangerous plots. The jihadis had to resort to using a car and a knife, some basic implements to carry out this attack. Like I said, cold comfort to those dealing with grief, but no less true. But let's go back to that other point. Khalid Masood was dropped from surveillance because there were as many as 10,000 people deemed more violent, more extreme, more dangerous than him. 10,000 people. Let's put that in military terms. That's not a company. That's not a battalion. That's not a regiment. It's a division, or in the old Roman army terms, a legion. Britain has an army of jihadists inside their own borders. That's no small feat, no small problem. So, how do you deal with this? What do you do? Well, despite the calls of some to stop all Muslim immigration to Western countries or to deport all Muslims already in Western countries, that won't work. Masood was born Adrian Elms. He was born in Britain. He was not born or raised a Muslim. He converted. He became radicalized. So what then is the answer? It's got to be multifaceted answers, of course, but assimilation, often a bad word or its less offensive cousin, integration, has to be part of it. It's clear that the multiculturalism practiced by some, the kind that says all cultures are equal, the kind that doesn't stand up for what some call universal values, universal rights, but that are really rights and values that emanate from Western liberal democracies, well, that kind of multiculturalism, it's an abject failure. Some politicians these days, they're fond of saying blindly that diversity is our strength. But what diversity? How diverse do we want to go? Do we want to accept a diversity that says imposing Sharia, oppressing women, forcing the kuffar to submit to Allah or face a terrorist attack is acceptable? That isn't a diversity that I want to embrace. It's not a diversity that makes us stronger. That's a diversity that pits one part of society against another. And as Abraham Lincoln famously said, a house divided against itself cannot stand. So what should Britain be doing? Honestly, there is no one easy answer. What I can say is that they need to drop the kind of multiculturalism they are currently practicing and adopt a more melting pot approach, one that demands that those that want to be in Britain accept British principles, the principles founded in the Magna Carta, the principles that have been developed and built upon over centuries to create the most vibrant and resilient democracies in history, whether we're talking about Britain itself or its former colonies such as Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and yes, even the United States of America. Each of those countries are multiracial, they're multi-ethnic, multicultural, but they're founded upon the ideas, the ideals that once made Britain Great Britain. The United Kingdom needs to stop worrying about offending others, stop worrying about how other countries that do not have their dedication to liberty see them. I spoke to Sam Westrop on my radio program the other night. Sam is a director at the Middle East Forum based in Boston. He previously worked in London, England with an organization called Stand for Peace. It's a counter-extremism NGO. He told me that in the UK, multiculturalism often means government funding for religious and ethnic minorities. And that includes funding mosques and Islamic community centers that are controlled by all the wrong people. By that he means not your average Muslim that just wants to get on with life, well, with raising their family, but instead the money goes to the hard men, the strong men, the extremists, the ones pushing an ideology like Wahhabism, and then using their position as the main contact between the government and the local community to exercise an undue level of control. So what does Westrop recommend? He recommends ending this sort of practice and focusing instead on treating each and every Briton as an individual citizen instead of part of a group that needs to be bought off. That idea meshes well with the British tradition of individual liberty, that idea that stretches back to the Magna Carta and grew from there. Like I said, Britain can't deport its Muslim population. They can't stop this problem of 10,000 would-be jihadis by stopping immigration. The legion, the division is inside their borders. But maybe in the future they can stop it by ending the ghettoization, the no-go zones, and embrace integration by standing up for the principles and values that made Britain, Great Britain, in the first place. If you liked the video you just watched, never miss a Rebel video again. Click here to subscribe to our YouTube channel.